Hello, my name is Whitney Russell, and this is my screencast on evaluating work-based learning experiences. I chose to look at the Acme animation program and the first robotics program. So to begin, I just want to give a bit of an overview of what I'll be covering in this screencast. First, I'm going to talk about the 4 stages of the work-based learning continuum, and then I'm going to go into details on what the Acme animation program as well as the first robotics programs are. Then I'm going to compare the 2 programs. How are they similar and how are they different? And then I'll end with a discussion on how one program may benefit from the other program. So first, let's jump into what the work-based learning continuum is. This is an image that really outlines what the 4 stages of the work-based continuum are. Those are a lot of words, and it can get a little overwhelming. So to simplify it a bit, I took that information and just really toned it down and gave some really basic overviews of what the 4 phases of the work-based learning continuum are. On the first end of the work-based learning continuum, you have number 1, which is career awareness. And what that means is that students will learn about the different careers available out there. They will look at career options and explore what those different careers look like. So they will be able to talk about what type of post-secondary education they would need for those individual careers. And it's designed primarily by adults to inform and broaden a student's awareness of careers. An example of that may be a workplace tour. Students go out on a tour and check out a certain workplace. Moving down the continuum, you have number 2, which is career exploration. And what that is learning about individual careers. Students are going to explore career options and the post-secondary options that are necessary for those different careers. In this step of the continuum, students are really starting to kind of narrow down which specific careers they are interested in. An example of an activity that they could do that falls within this realm of the continuum would be to go on a job shadow, to actually follow around a worker in the specific careers that they are interested in. Moving on is number 3, and that is career preparation. On this step, students are learning through work. They are actually applying what they have learned through practical experiences. An example of this may be that there's a student-run enterprise with an industry partner. So partners may be involved in these enterprises with students. And then the last step of the work-based learning career continuum is career training. Students are actually learning for work. They're being trained in specific occupations. They are learning, they're not exploring careers anymore. They are not practicing careers anymore or preparing for careers. They are actually being trained in the specific careers that they are interested in going into. An example of this may be an apprenticeship, or maybe on the job training. It's work experience. So it's really students are working, and the focus isn't so much on learning anymore. It's on actually meeting the expectations of the employer. So now that we know about the continuum, the work-based learning continuum, let's talk about the 2 programs that I chose. The first one is the Acme Animation Project, which is a specific example of work-based learning in practice, in play. So I watched a video. It was about an 8-minute video on what the Acme Animation Project is. This program was founded in 1996, and what it is several professional animators that are working in Disney, they're working in Warner Brothers, they're people that are doing this day in and day out. They collaborate with students via teleconferencing gear. So students are in a classroom, they have all of their own animations, their own resources that they need for that animation, and then they literally have up on the screen animators, professional animators who are mentoring them digitally or virtually. So they use laptops, they use projectors, they use software that they are actually able to show the animators their animated sequences, and animators can show them drawings. So it takes a lot of technology to accomplish this type of program. And the goal of this program is to educate these students to be future creators. They have to show one component of this program is that students have to demonstrate that they understand basic animation principles before they are able to move on in the program. They have, and for students that don't have the ability to connect with animators via video conferencing, they can actually upload their work to a website, and then these mentors will look at their work and provide written feedback, and also images that serve as feedback to these students who are progressing through this program. One educator said that she really loves this program because students are working towards a deadline and they are receiving feedback from actual professionals. And so because of that, they take it more seriously and they put more effort into it. So where does the Acme program fall on the work-based learning continuum? It falls on number 3. So this is career preparation. Students are learning through work. They are applying their learning through practical experiences. They are actually creating animations and receiving feedback from professionals. But it is still student run and it is still mainly in the classroom. They are not actually apprenticing. They are not going and getting work experience. Most of it is still done in the classroom. And so this falls under number 3 for that continuum. The second program that I looked at was the first robotics program. And essentially what that program is students, they compete in a challenge that comes out every year in January. So students are in the class from the beginning of the school year, and then in January they are given a challenge. This challenge requires that they design, build, program, and test a robot to demonstrate certain capabilities. There are strict rules that govern this program, and the students are given limited time and limited resources to create their robots. Like the Acme program, there are also mentorships, but unlike the Acme program, students are learning the business end of robotics design and STEM. They are learning how to market. They are learning how to collaborate with business partners. They are learning how to work in groups, to be able to get the money and the resources that they need for their robot. They also enter at the end of it, like I said, they enter a competition, and based on how they perform in the competition, they are awarded scholarships, up to $80 million in scholarships through this program. So it's really a prolific and successful program. Like the Acme animation program, this also falls on number 3 on the work-based learning continuum. It is preparation for the career. Students are learning through practical experiences. They are actually building robots and competing with these robots, but they are not in the workplace being trained in a specific career, which is why it is only number 3 on the work-based learning continuum. So I've kind of alluded to some of these things, but let's be really explicit on how do these two programs compare. So some similarities between them is that they both function using mentorships. Actual professionals in the field help these students as they progress through their learning. There's a lot of collaboration between students and their mentors, students and other students, students and their teachers. And it's really focused on problem solving. Students are given a problem and they need to solve that problem in order to have their outcome. So for example, in the Acme animation program, they are told, okay, you need to animate a brick falling from a wall. And in the robotics program, they're like, okay, you need to problem solve, how do I build a robot? So both of them are very focused on problem solving, which as we know is one of the greatest ways to have students learn and master a concept. And it's very relevant. It has to do with actual work experience, right? Like if these students go into animation, they are learning what they need for that trade. If students go into the STEM field in engineering, they are learning the actual techniques and qualities and experiences that they need in that field if they decide to go there. But there are also a lot of major differences between the two programs. First, the Acme program is a distance learning program. A lot of it is done virtually. There's no like face-to-face mentorships, whereas with the robotics program, they have mentors that come into the classroom and work with them face-to-face. They're a lot more hands-on. Also, the first robotics program, they stress the business knowledge of their profession, whereas that's not so much stressed in the Acme program. The Acme program is more about learning the techniques of animation. And then the rest of these are differences that are specific to the first program and not the Acme program. The first program is very much focused on that competition, so that adds a lot to the program itself. Students are competing, and so there's a lot more buy-in, I think. Also, the first robotics program, there's scholarship opportunities at the end of it. And also with the first program, there's collaboration with local businesses, whereas in the Acme program, not so much. Like I said, it's that distance learning, and they are collaborating with industry professionals, but not on a local level, not like in their local market. So then the last thing I want to touch on is how might one of these programs benefit from the other. And in all honesty, I really feel like the Acme program, and the video was a bit older. It was made in 2006, and so maybe today it has progressed a lot further than it did than how it was in 2006. But I really think that the Acme program could benefit from the first robotics program. I think if there were more hands-on mentorships, if they did stress that business end of it, because that's important in any industry that you go into. I think if there were competitions embedded into the program, that would be another way to get students to buy in. If there were scholarships offered for these animators, if there was collaboration for local businesses. So I really feel like the first robotics program had a lot of qualities that the Acme animation program would totally benefit from. So that is the end. Thank you for listening. I hope that I was able to illustrate really the main differences between these two programs, where they fall on the work-based learning continuum, and how the Acme animation program can benefit from the model set forth by the first robotics program.